Hello everyone, my name is Pallabi Ghosh. I am an anti-trafficking activist. I have an organization, Impact and Dialogue Foundation, that works to prevent, rescue, rehabilitate and empower survivors of trafficking and at-risk girls. Now a lot of you must be wondering that why do I work in trafficking? Why did I start this organization against trafficking? So there is a long story behind it. So basically 21 years back, I am now 33, 21 years back I had gone to a small village in Bengal, and during my stay in that village, there was this man who ran around and said that his daughter was missing. I was myself 12 and I did not realize it. But after 2-3 days, he again came to me and told me that if your father was searching for you, what would you have done? So that was the first trigger from where I understood that there is something known as missing children. There is children are being missing. Children are missing from across the country. It took me 8 to 9 years to actually understand. I was not pursuing it so diligently, but one after another incident started happening. And finally, the biggest encounter was when I was in Delhi University during one of the college fest. There was this girl who came to me and asked me, you are speaking a language and I think I have heard it. And she asked me multiple times and I told her I am speaking Bengali. It was very surprising because she told me that a lot of women in our village spoke the same language. And when I asked her, where do you come from? She said that I come from North India, Haryana. And I requested her to take me to her village. She didn't. But after pulling a lot of strings, finally I could go to one of the village and I see a group of women sitting. Everybody's head is covered in a veil and sitting with, all typical North Indian dress and jewelries. I asked that woman, one of the women there in Haryanvi, and this girl was like, the girl who who took me, she was like, no, you talk in Bengali. And then I asked this girl that, how are you? And she started crying and telling me that, Didi, I was 12 years old. I went to a village fair. I met a boy who befriended me. We fell in love. We met couple of times. And then I came to Sialda. We boarded a train. I came to Delhi and then we came to Haryana. And I was subconscious. I was not fully conscious. He gave me something to drink. So then this girl told me that, what happened was this particular person gave me something to drink, especially a tea, and I became subconscious. When I opened my eyes, I found myself in a room and there was nobody in that room. And when I said that, where am I got to know that I am in Haryana and I was sold off. Then I asked that girl, do you want to be rescued? She was like, no, I don't want to be rescued. I stay with my husband here. I have 2 children and my husband treats me well. When I asked her, how does your husband treat you well? She told me, my husband gives me food and everything. So that time I realized that, she was justifying violence with food. So that is when it started. How I started my organization during COVID, during 2020, I went for a rescue in Uttar Pradesh, and during that time, there was this person who came to me and told me that, many children were COVID positive. I was a little surprised because during the first wave of COVID, nobody was getting COVID. On investigation, we got to know that around 10 to 15 children were COVID. Later, we found that children had died. I digged in more and then found out that most of the children, their organs were taken out. There was huge organ trafficking racket going on. That is when I decided that, I cannot work individually as an activist. I need to have an organization. That's when I registered this organization, Impact and Dialogue Foundation, in 2020 December. The prime projects are the 3 projects. Project Suraksha, which works on, prevention. We work with law enforcement, we work with social welfare departments, we work with educational institutions, we work with news channels doing awareness. I go to podcasts. So we work with everybody to prevent trafficking. We work with railway stations. So trafficking is something, or modern slavery is something, even violence, that cannot be prevented by a social activist or a social worker. So we work with everybody under the sky, you can say, to prevent trafficking. The next is Project Uddhar, which is more about rescuing individuals from trafficking. We get information from police, we get information from families, we verify those information, we do Reiki, and then we rescue the girls. Third is Project Sahai. In Project Sahai, we have safe houses in 3-4 states across India. We give these girls 1 year of, coaching, in training in multiple things, knitting, weaving, computer, English, and once they pass out of this course, we give them a sewing machine and a stipend to start some business or some livelihood. Also, we have girls who want to do coding, graphic designing. We send these girls to other organization so that they can, get the diploma course and then get employed. The third is girls who wants to do, formal system of education. We get sponsors for them. So this is a brief about the work that we do. Bangalore has become a big destination of trafficking. Delhi used to be, and now also Delhi, Bombay. Bangalore has become, because a lot of people from Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Northeast are coming to Bangalore for forced labor, for prostitution. Now a lot of people will say that Bangalore doesn't have a red light area. See, you don't have to have a red light area to do prostitution. You can just do home-based prostitution. On an average, 3 to 4 girls are rescued in Bangalore when it comes to trafficking. So you can understand. The most important thing is that people in Bangalore do not know that so much of trafficking is happening because it's underreported, it is not lodged. That is one of the biggest challenges. It's very important, crucial that Bangalore being called the Silicon Valley of India or the IT capital, people here start having conversations, start having dialogues to ensure that trafficking is prevented. Every district should have an anti-human trafficking unit which should be headed by an inspector, which is a three-star officer, and there should be a vehicle given. I will tell you my personal experiences. When it comes to rescue operations in Bangalore, we have to reach always a very senior officer, either a DSP or an SP or a DCP. I am not saying that junior level officers do not work, they work. But the thing is that that level of awareness in Bangalore is not there. So this is a big challenge. That's the reason the number of rescue operations become very less. There are schemes to get victim compensation for survivors. Now the problem that the survivor faces is that, after 10 years, she might get victim compensation. But the amount she gets, for example, if she gets 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, after 10 years of struggle, whenever she gets the sanction of the victim compensation, 50,000 will come to her account and she will be told that the rest of the amount will go as FDs, which is a challenge. Now, what will the girl do after 10 years? She needs the money now, maybe to set up a business, to do some work, to get some skills, to do some training. So this is a problem. Now, a lot of people will say that judiciary should be questioned. We cannot directly question judiciary because judges are understaffed, courts are understaffed, so many cases still pending. I will tell you about cases which I have been still going for chief and cross 10 years, 12 years, still there is no hearing. One after another hearing is happening, still justice is not coming up. Second problem is that, convictions are very less. I have done thousands of rescue operations, but if you ask how many convictions happened, hardly 5 to 6. So imagine if somebody who is being trafficked and who traffics is not jailed or not given punishment. Like it's very simple. I have stolen something, I am not put in jail. I'll keep stealing. So it's like that. There is no conviction and conviction takes a long time. So this is a big problem due to which survivors do not get justice at the right time. Society stigmatizes survivors. We say that we want to mainstream them. But are we ready to keep them as our staff in our companies? Forget about companies. How many of us actually take survivors of trafficking in our houses as house help? So this is a problem that we keep constantly facing. Now the survivors that work with us, most of them come from very underprivileged background with no education. They are so poor. Now there are many causes of trafficking. Now what a lot of us do, we do conferences, we do seminars, we do many things. But if you don't follow a bottom-up approach of working on these areas where trafficking is actually happening, how can you think? Just working in Bangalore, Delhi, Bombay will not help. If you do not make the source areas active, if you don't stop trafficking there, because from there only it's happening. There is a saying that prevention is better than cure. Of course, if a girl is trafficked, the healing is so long. But before trafficking, if we work, we can prevent trafficking. Now let me tell you about Karnataka. We say that Karnataka is very rich, Karnataka is developed. We cannot judge Karnataka by Bangalore and Mangalore. Karnataka consists of Hubli, Karnataka consists of Koppal, Karnataka consists of Chitradurga and many places. In Koppal, Devdasi is still happening. How many times do we report it? So many girls have rescued from North Karnataka who are so poor. I remember a girl I rescued from Andhra Pradesh when it was Andhra Pradesh, now it's Telangana. I remember that she used to pluck what you call red chilies, 300, 400 red chilies, and she used to get 20 rupees a day. So it is not like, trafficking is happening only from northeast or eastern part of India. Trafficking is equally happening from southern part of India. But we don't talk about it, we don't report it. So that is the problem. Most police stations do not lodge FIR in trafficking cases. They either lodge it as a child marriage case or an elopement case. And we know that a minute of delay can make a person go cross international borders. Now, when you talk about trafficking, people lodge cases if it's a minor child. The moment they see that the person is above 18, they don't lodge cases. Now tell me, if I'm an adult, will the violence that will happen with me becomes less? Equal importance should be given to cases of minor children as well as adult children. So that is one important intervention that is needed. Apart from that, organizations should work together so that trafficking and modern slavery is prevented. Now it is no more trafficking, it's more of modern slavery. I have children, I'll tell you examples now. I have seen children stitching shirts and getting 20 rupees for one shirt. Imagine the level of discrimination that these children faces. Apart from that, traffic survivors face post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. They have mental health issues. When you talk about rehabilitation, rehabilitation is not just putting them in shelter homes. What you are doing to ensure that they are rehabilitated, what you are doing to empower them. Most people are trafficked because of poverty, unemployment, illiteracy, migration, natural disasters. You cannot control natural disasters, but you can actually do something to make them empowered. Now, everybody can't get jobs because there is dearth of jobs, but some kind of skilling, some kind of skill. Government of India has so much of, Skill India. According to Skill India, so much of rehabilitation program, so much of livelihood, but it doesn't reach them. So we have to ensure that there is a linkage. Apart from that, government has included Ujjwala scheme, but under school Ujjwala scheme, how many girls avail those schemes? Most girls are unaware. The government has so many schemes in state level, in national level, but the thing is that the people who are working on the ground are not aware about it. So it's very important to have a direct linkage so that people know about it and can avail that. So this is what I had to talk about trafficking. If you want to reach me, you can reach me at impactdialoguefoundation@gmail.com. I can share my more details. You can go to impactdialogue.org, find the work that you do. If you find any child who has gone missing, anything related to violence, you can please reach out to us. Thank you. The moment we rescue a traffic survivor, we keep her with, a rape survivor, a dyslexic survivor. So there is no segregation of survivors, that's one. Second is that they go through huge emotional turmoil because they are sold multiple times. Now I will tell you a girl I had rescued. She was sold 25 times. She was counseled. Now when I go to places, like I still remember a police station, I was told that, Pallavi, you counsel this girl. Honestly speaking, I have 12 years of work experience working in anti-trafficking, violence against women, migration, but I am not a counselor because I do not have the expertise to be a counselor. Jotting down details, just asking details and doing counseling, both are two different things. Most people end up talking to girls and saying that it's counseling. Please understand, counseling is very, very different from talking to girls, taking their statements. We have to address this issue of counseling means making that person not relive the trauma. One problem with our community is that the moment we rescue a girl, first the girl will be asked questions by a counselor, then she will be asked question in the police station, then she will be asked question by the judge, then when the chief, when the cross, during interrogation, when the case goes for trial. Every time you question the girl, I am not denying it, that is a process. You end up making her relive the trauma again and again and again. I think that is where we need to understand that this is just making her more and more stressed and traumatized. I remember survivors not coming to courts. Now tell me something, there is something that happens in villages. Anytime police comes to your house, we think police has come for the wrong reason. How many of us go to police station? So imagine a girl living in a village, a deposition has come, a summon has come, people will think that she must have done some crime. In trafficking cases, we always say she was trafficked. We say he trafficked her? Rape cases also, she was raped. Do you say that he raped her? How many times have we tried in changing the narrative? Focus should not be on the victim. Focus should be on the perpetrator. I think all these things, if we do, a lot of the trauma will actually stop. There is post-traumatic stress disorder, there are healing practices, there are normal counseling sessions, there are different types of people do different times. So there is clinical psychologists, but trauma, everybody's trauma is different. So when you talk about counseling and trafficking, you have to understand which level of counseling are you giving to these girls. It is very important to understand, to do a comparative analysis of the girl post rescue to figure out which is the best counseling that you need to give her. We have to understand counseling in our country is very, very expensive. Counselors charge money, of course, because it's listening to somebody, giving them therapy, and we don't consider, we go for physical ailments to doctor, but we don't go for mental ailments to doctor. That is one thing, is a big thing. We are ready to pay 1,000 rupees for an MRI or an ultrasound or a CT scan. We are not ready to pay 1,000 rupees to the doctor for a mental health checkup, because that's an invisible health crisis that we face. So it's very important that mental health counseling is taken into consideration. And as far as trafficking cases are concerned, counseling is a very important aspect if you want to rehabilitate the person, if you want to empower the person, because counseling will help her in getting her self-confidence back, will help her come up and have the self-esteem which she has lost. So I think in rehabilitation, counseling therapies are very important. Thank you.